Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day today. Good morning. And this is part 5 of Margin. Today we're jumping in. This is a really short one, so the good thing is a Saturday, and so we can kind of get this done and you can go have fun. But margin, let's talk about it. We've been talking about it for a few days now. You're probably tired of me saying margin. I get it. I'm kind of like there with you, but it's a series and it's really good. Margin. You are not going to have margin unless you schedule it in your life. I'm going to say that again. The key to living with margin is you have to schedule it. That's one more time. If you repeat something 3 times, people might actually get it. The key to living with margin is you have to schedule it. Margin just doesn't happen in your life. A lot of times I sit here and go, forgive me, I'm going to make a very big confession. My morning gets busy and I go, I'm going to do the Only Gents uh, broadcast at X time. And so sometimes it kind of varies in what that time is. But I've got a schedule on my calendar. Now, there are some days where I have to schedule things and I'm not able to do this. And, if I know that that's going to happen, I try and do early recording or something along those lines and just schedule it to go out. But the thing is, I have to schedule time for this broadcast every day. If I don't schedule time for this broadcast, it won't get done as much as I want it to get done. It's not going to get done. Life is going to overrun you every single time. In Ephesians 5, let's read that real fast. Ephesians 5. There we go. Ephesians 5, 8 through 20. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of the light, for the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. And find out what pleases the Lord. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. It is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret, but everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated by light. This is why it is said, wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine in you. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. See, the thing is, Paul encourages us to be wise and not foolish. The days are evil. As much as you don't, well, if you're like me, your schedule is evil sometimes and it overruns you and you're a slave to your schedule. And that's the thing, we have to build the foundation wisely, and to build that foundation is we have to schedule margin in our life to spend time with God. So, how do you schedule wisely? You do it by saying no to the many good things that you're doing to say yes to the best thing. You do it by saying no to many good things to say yes to the best thing. Chances are your busyness is not the result of you doing a lot of bad things, but rather too many good things. See, I run into this problem often. I do a lot, and it's all good. It's all building the church, the Big C church. A lot of times, it's not even building only one church, but it's about meeting with church planners who want to plant digitally and who are like, "Hey, what's your model? How do you do things?" And I'm kind of like, "We're building the plane as it's flying, and it's all good, but these are our plans. This is our vision. These are our ideas." But too many good things can quickly become the enemy of the best thing. See, building a church is not a bad thing. My life, what I do is not a bad thing. But too many good things quickly become the enemy of the best things. For some, it can be so difficult to say no. But in order to live a life with margin, no must become part of your regular vocabulary. That's hard. I'm the biggest one, like, when I'm in a meeting or something and people are like, hey, we need somebody to do this, whatever it is. I have to like look down and sit there and go, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't do it. Don't think it. Don't know. Don't make eye contact. Because I'm usually the first one to say, yeah, let's do it. Because I'm excited and I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about the church. I'm passionate about everything. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Come on, let's go. And that's not always the right thing. Because I'm pretty sure I'm saying yes to something good. Like, I'm saying yes to building the digital church network because the digital church network has 500 plus people who want to plant churches digitally or are a part of established churches and want to further their church digitally. Like, I'm sitting there like, yeah, let's go, come on, because I'm excited. But for some, it can be difficult to say no, and that's what my issue is. But order to live a life with margin, no must become part of my vocabulary. You don't have to say no to everything, but take time to look at your schedule and see what good things are distracting you from the very best thing that God has for you. That's the hard part. Seeing what we need to say no to in order to see, in order to create time to be with God and see what He has for us. One of the things that I like saying, me and my wife kind of started coining this term. We are not our bosses. And yeah, you're like, Shane, you are your boss. You're the pastor of your church. You are your own boss. No, I'm not. Not really. I answer to a board. There is a board over me. And the thing is, though, one of the things that Lana and I say is God is your boss. We are to live submissive to what He wants. And it's hard sometimes. Because, I'll sit there and go, I'm not really hearing what God's wanting. I'm not hearing what He's saying. But I have these things in me that I feel like need to be done. And usually, those things are what God's speaking to me deeply. And so I sit back and I go, God, what do you want me to do today? And I start doing those things. Because those things are what He has created me to do. It's all up to us. If you're serious about scheduling margin, then it's time to see what you need to say no to immediately. What's one thing you can say no to that you believe will allow you to say yes to God's best? There are some things that I probably could say no to in my life. And I'm learning to start saying no to those things. I'm learning not to say yes to everything. Just because I'm excited about it doesn't mean I need to be the one doing it. Just because I am excited and want to see the church furthered doesn't mean I need to say yes to it. See, one of the things that come up often in my mind is missions. Like, I want to go do this, and this, and I want to see this because I meet a missionary and they're doing it, and I'm like, yeah, I love it. And it's like, that's not what God called me to, though. And I've got to sit back and say, God, what are you having me do? That is going to help further the church as a whole. And that's where I try to live. But I only have that opportunity because I've created margin in my life. When I wake up in the morning, I sit there and say, God, what do you want me to do today? I sit there and, yeah, I'm doing these plans with you guys. Again, I hadn't said this in a little while, but if you want to join with us doing these plans, they're just on the YouVersion Bible app. To look up margin, or if you want, I can send you the direct link to it, and we can do it together. There's a place where we can talk over it. All those fun things. And so that's, sorry. got on a little tangent there and lost my place. But I don't just have this plan. I usually have other plans. Like right now, I've got a plan called The Second Happy by Pastor Kevin Myers. And it's talking about living a life, being happy with your spouse. And that's one of the things that I read. Me and Lana actually are reading that together. And that's one of the things that I get up, I read those plans, I listen to Christine Kane on her podcast, I listen to Craig Rochelle on his podcast, I listen to there's several. I'm not just going to keep naming because each day it's something different. It depends on the order that it releases during the week. I usually just click the most recent, and so I listen to things that fill me up. And then I take time before I start, like I sit down at my desk, I try and take time and I try to sit there and say, God, what is it that you want me to do? And then at night, I make time to journal. And I told you guys my journaling has turned into my prayer life. And that's, I'm writing down what I'm praying. I'm writing down my conversation with God. And he speaks to me. And so it's funny because, you'll see a paragraph and then you'll see something that says Shane. And that's God yelling my name because I'm not listening. And there's a paragraph for that. And then there's another paragraph of me. And then there's another paragraph of him. What I feel like he's speaking to me. And that's where I've created place to have margin in my life. What are you needing to say no to in the immediate to be able to create that margin? I've started saying no to some things because I realized I will do a lot of things that they're good things, but they're not the best things. And so what is it today that you need to do to create margin to do the best things? I hope you have a great day, and I hope this touched you and that this has spoken to you, and you will take that time to look at your schedule and say no to some things